it does come back to what have you done in the swim and the bike, and that will determine how well you run. You have to have a race plan based on your running ability. That is definitely important. So we know that from our training, what you're capable of doing fresh as a runner and as a runner off the bike. And we've got that data from our athletes. So we need to actually make sure that this is the mistake a lot of guys do. They don't actually do that testing on themselves. Just like the FTP test on the bike, you need to know what your number is against the speed. We need to know what you can run as a fresh runner. It's not so important, but it is a good comparison because as I've spoken to you before, my goal in my career as a triathlete was to get my off-the-bike 10K run pace as close as I could possibly get to my actual real. And the closer I got to it, I knew I was in form. The further away from it was, I hadn't done enough bike run sessions. So it really made me motivated. The closer I was getting to my best 10K off the bike, there was hardly any difference. So that meant that I was at the peak of my form and I was going to run the best I possibly could because it was close to my best anyway. So knowing what pace to run at from the start is so important in an Ironman. It's important in a sprint distance as well. But the measurement of your effort across that marathon, of course, you're so happy to get off the bike after 5 or 6 hours on the bike. Oh, my goodness, it's so good a feeling. And now I'm starting to run. And you've got your family in the transition period. And all of a sudden, the adrenaline you get through transition, everybody's cheering for you. They might be calling your name out. And your pace is meant to be 4-minute 30 pace for the next 42.2. And you look down and you're doing 3-minute 30 because you're just so happy to be off the bike. That is a mistake. Having a race plan, coming out of transition, not spiking your heart rate so that you're running the first 5K in the red zone. You want to pick a pace that you can sustain for the whole marathon and possibly get better towards the end. And in an Ironman, that's not going to happen. You're not going to improve your pace unless you're Dave Scott or one of the legends. It's just not going to happen. You're going to struggle to hold the pace. So the pace you pick at the start is something you want to sustain forever in that marathon. In that Olympic distance and in that sprint distance, it's the same. In a sprint distance, you're possibly going to be able to pick up the pace better than you can in Olympic, better than you can in a 70.3, and so it goes on. But you need to pick a pace that's sustainable the whole way. So how do we get to that pace? In training, we would measure that just the week before so that we know what our best number is and we can convert that into a marathon. So each one of our Ironman athletes has their marathon triathlon pace that they're going to go into the event with, knowing this is my pace and I know I can sustain it because I've done this countless times in training. And I don't mean run a marathon in training. I mean run the pace that we've trained you at and that is going to be transferred across because of the way we work it out.
Perfect. Does that cover everything that you think people make mistakes in with the race plan, or is there anything else that people need to know when thinking about their race plan?
Yeah, but look, I just want to give an example of something that happened to me as a triathlete, and this is something that you can really concentrate on is running your own race. And when you get off the bike, everybody else around you seems to be running so much faster than you. And you're looking down going, well, I'm doing 4:30. These guys must be really good runners. If they're all running at 4:10, 4:05, boy, there must be some good runners in my age group. But after 10, 15K, those runners are all then running 4:30 and you're still running 4:30. Those runners then at 35K could possibly be running 5 to 6 minute K pace or walking, but you're still running 4:30 and you feel like you are flying past these athletes. But you're actually staying the same pace. It's just that they've slowed down. And the feeling you get when you're running past people and they're yelling at you going, oh, fantastic running, mate, way to go. That is such an adrenaline rush. And that is an enjoyable way to finish a marathon. And you will run faster at the end. So running your own race is a mistake that people make. And I've done it myself. I've followed someone else's pace just because I'm competitive, and it's been the detriment of my result. There are days, as we talked about on the bike, in the run, at the end of the day, you are either a newbie trying to complete, an age grouper who's really trying for a podium, or a professional. And you select which one of those you want to be. You want to just compete the event, that's okay, run the same pace. If you're an age group trying to get for a podium, you need to race the other guys as well. So you've got your set pace, and it's okay once the risk gets less. And what do I mean by that? If it's a marathon, the risk is less from 30k to 42 than it is from 10k. So you can't make big, bold moves at 10k when you've still got roughly 32k to go. You can make better moves at 30k when there's only a risk of 10k to go of blowing up. Same in a sprint race, you know. At 3k, you can go for it, run, 4-minute k pace instead of 4:30, knowing that you've only got to hang on for 2k, so the risk is less. So you can actually compete against your competition when the risk is less, but you still need to listen, like we talked about on the bike, ability and ambition. Don't get them confused with your pace, and then you will get a better outcome and possibly win the race because you have listened to what you're able to do and then let the competitiveness take over when the risk is less.